Celebrity Friday. Thank God it's Friday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Tokpe Mark Odige, and I'm not doing this alone as usual. I have my beautiful ladies with me. How are you doing?
We started with a dance. I thought Dirty December has entered into clean January, so we don't know how we want to, remove it. I'm doing well. I'm doing very fine. It's a beautiful day today, Friday. I mean, we're ready. The month is jumping. We used to think January will have like 50 days, but obviously it's even like 25 days like this because we're already in between. Today is 17th. It's a good day. It's a good day. We're here.
Half of the
we're
January.
alive. You understand?
That means not calculating the money in the bank. So when they say January is 50 days, it's the money. It's the money. That means you have money. I should be visiting you.
Hey!
The bank is doing right now. The months have entered 60 days already. Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm grateful to God. I'm looking forward to the long weekend. I'm hoping that, that I don't even have to work on Monday so that I can recover all the lost. The body get as they do me.
Get as they do me. That's it doing you.
But just warm your hand a little bit. It will help with the cold. But they're giving us a sample of Canada right now.
Yes. So,
that's why Amaka has turtleneck inside.
So as you see me like this, I'm in Canada. Just forget that you see me now.
Yes. Even if you see me here.
Even if you see me here.
We are both in Canada.
We are both in Canada. So like you said, it's been a long week. Somehow I've not been sleeping for more than 5 hours. I've just been busy. And I really want to sleep. I'll turn off my phone and sleep till I wake up tomorrow. Anytime I wake up tomorrow, I wake up. Yes, and then like you said, 60 days in January. And I always advocate, anywhere you see food, eat. In your dream, I even eat in my dream. If I see food in my dream, the way I to drag it there, I eat it so that when I wake up to, the January fasting period, we just continue. So eat, anywhere you see food, 2025.
Chopo.
How are you like that?
You look very tired.
Yeah, I had to, and I haven't been on the show this week. I think this is my first day waking up before 7. I've been waking up like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Like I've just been trying to rest. I'm been having terrible migraine. I've just not been feeling my best self. I was saying I'll rest. As I saw that I'm coming on the show today and I'm still not feeling myself, I had to go to the hospital yesterday. From dentist, the dentist was, I have a swollen gum. The dentist was like, how are you being able to talk with this swollen gum? He said, maybe that's why you're having a headache, because swollen gum is like you're having like a boil and it can affect anything. From that one, I went to like Nigerians, we always have malaria. So as in whichever way, health is wealth, and I started the show. I had to just do small dance so that I can lift my vibration. I can bring you energy because this Friday is preceding a very loaded weekend for some and very light weekend for others. But when we'll take a break. Before we go on the break though, I want to say something. I've been doing devotionals on the phone. This year, I just said, let me get Open Heavens from Redeem. I told one of my, RCCG Open Heavens, and it's been really interesting. It's different, having to open a book and be reading. I'm like, sometimes we're thinking studying from the phone is as powerful. It's not the same thing like when you're reading the actual book. It gives it more meaning, and then you can draw your line and say, this is the word God gave me now.
So I prefer reading actual books
than reading on the phone.
Reading on my phone, yes.
Anyway, we'll take a break. When we return, we'll go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay. Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. So we're starting off front page review today with The Nation, as usual. And the major headline is Governors back tax reform. The tax reform bill seek adjustments to the VAT. The Nigerian Governors Forum actually has said that they stand for equitable distribution of resources and the grey areas resolved, says Sule. Moving on to other news, foreign fighters behind terror attack in northeast, says the department, the DHQ, the Defense Headquarters. EFCC to arraign Otudeko Onosoya over alleged 123 billion naira fraud. Failure to defend budget will attract zero allocation. National Assembly frowns at tardiness. Lokbobiri, market forces would always determine fuel prices. Government industry synergy is being sustained. The federal government has said that economic reforms on course despite Sanusi's doubts. Leaders should avoid partisan undertone. And U.S. honors for 6 Nigerians. Withdrawal from council polls unsettles Ondo. What story are we starting with?
Okay, so let me do the major headline. So we have a new development, a welcomed one. The Governors Forum yesterday, after sitting at a round table at the Transcorp in Abuja, decided to support. They said they are backing the continuous legislative activity happening around the tax reforms, and they have endorsed it. But they made some slight adjustments. One of which is, they proposed a stop to the increment of the VAT, and they revised the VAT sharing formula. So they said for equity, they will distribute resources at 50%. For derivation, 30%, and for population, 20%. So based on that sharing formula, states will know what they are getting. As a state that is deriving certain things, you get 30% of the entire tax. For equality, 50%.
So they supported it with an amendment.
For those that have higher population, they get 20%. They amended it. They amended a lot of things. They also advocated that we continue to remove taxes from essential goods and agricultural produce. They also recommended that there should be the complete removal of the terminal clause that stops TED fund, NASENI, Tertiary Education Trust Fund, the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, the National Information Technology Development Agency, and all of those the clause should be put now, to be removed, sorry. And they also supported the continuous legislative activity happening around the tax reforms at the National Assembly. All governors were seated. The chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum, the governor of Kwara State, headed and read out their communique at the end of the day. Governor of Nasarawa went on a TV station and also highlighted how this new arrangement favors the North. The North was loud on this matter. So I want to congratulate the chairman, the Presidential Tax Reforms Committee.
They are talking about the new arrangement favoring the North.
He talked about how nothing was not favoring that. They were open to negotiations and they were open to more deliberations, and I like that it's showing.
Okay. So the Defense Headquarters yesterday attributed resurgence of terrorist attacks in the northwest and northeast to the influx of foreign fighters. The activities of the foreign fighters who serve as reinforcements for the terrorists are aided by local informants. This was said by Major General Edward Buba. Also, Borno State Governor Governor Zulum, who lamented the killings and violence, cautioned residents against collaborating with insurgents. They're saying that, please, the fishing communities and the farming communities should stop giving information of the troops to terrorists, because that's how they now know what's going on, where they are at every given time, to be able to fight them. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had 6 days ago ordered the probe of the January 6th terror attack in Borno State, which killed over 14 persons, including soldiers and, and citizens. Yes, and citizens. They also said that, he also said that as per the theme for this year is "Day for who, day for you." I beg, day for them, because they day for you.
Yeah, that's great.
Day for who, day for you. So they said, the military is saying, please, day for them, they day for you. He also said
I
that...
think that's a good...
that's a good
slogan.
one. Yes, slogan. Yes, so he said that over the past week, that 159 terrorists were neutralized and 464 arrested for different crimes. He also said that troops nabbed 29 oil thieves and... 29 oil thieves, yes, and also they rescued over 181 kidnapped victims. The UN also condemns this attack. Its humanitarian coordinator in Nigeria, Mohammed Fall, said the armed actors who perpetrated this attack must be identified and brought to account. But the Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawale, said again and is calling for improved funding of the defense sector. He said that he made the appeal while defending the Ministry 2025 budget proposal, before the Senate and House of Representative Committees on Defense in Abuja, where he described the ministry's current budget as insufficient, given the modern security challenges faced by the nation. He said that with the right equipment, we can significantly resolve the battle against terrorism. So please, let's help the military, that they can help us
Baby, sure
and
you
protect
there
us.
for me.
I there for you,
Yes,
because that's
If
what
you
they
are
want.
there for them, they are there for you. I have the one of food
Tell me your
shortage.
brain a DJ brain. I swear.
I have the one of food shortage in Nigeria, and this Nigerian-born founder of the Canadian Black Farmers Association, Tony Ajayi, has attributed the food shortage in the country to excessive exportation, poor attitude to local farming and insecurity, amongst others. In a statement, Ajayi said the continuous demand for Nigerian variety of food amongst the nation's citizens in diaspora has led to the exportation of the large chunk of food produced by farmers. He also noted that the new development had led to the hike in the prices of the limited available food in the country. He also mentioned that he urged the federal government to adopt the Canadian system of incentive farming and address the problem. The Ekiti-born farmer also said that apart from giving incentives to farmers, insecurity should be adequately addressed to boost food production. He also promised to create jobs in Ekiti for the youth in quest to assist the government in combating food security in the country. So,
as a frustrated farmer myself, as a frustrated farmer myself, I am also in that space where I feel anybody farming should actually be given incentives. In the least, seedlings. The level of theft that takes place within Nigerian farms and the level of food wastage that happens is huge. So, many farmers have stopped farming. Because of insecurity and because of the cost of seedlings. So whatever incentives can be given would boost food production.
Don't stop. That your sweet corn was sweet.
My darling, what they want to steal from me, it pass with how they make the money. There was an allegation that there is a 12.3 billion fraud that EFCC is now going to be arraigning. So Nima will take that story later. Let's move on to the Punch, major headline from the Punch. Dangote refinery projects 650 barrels per day come June. They also plan to import crude. Facility now producing 500,000 barrels per day as officials look beyond Nigeria to meet demand for product. You can't miss a picture of state governors and stakeholders during the consultative session with the Presidential Committee on Tax Reforms in Abuja that took place yesterday. Nima already took the details of the story. Fubara Wike camps clash as police occupy Rivers PDP Secretariat. Ogun guard arrested for alleged defilement of a 6-year-old. INEC deletes 7,746 dead persons from voter registration. And the story, 12.3 billion fraud. EFCC to arraign Otudeko, ex-First Bank MD on Monday. We've taken the story about the terror attack being from foreigners, and the governor's new VAT sharing formula has also been taken. However, Pengasem projects petrol price hike as crude cost rises. What story are we taking before we can't take any story. We'll take a break. We'll take a short break. When we return, we'll continue with the front page review. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us. So we'll be starting the Punch.
Yeah, I have the Oba Otudeko story. So the EFCC will be arraigning the former chairman, First Bank Holdings, that's Chief Oba Otudeko, and he's also the chairman of Honeywell Group. Also, the former First Bank MD will be arraigned along with him, Stephen Onosoya, and they attached another company to it, the Anchorage Leisure Limited, and the EFCC will be arraigning them on Thursday, January 20th, for financial crimes. According to the EFCC, the 4 defendants allegedly defrauded the First Bank of about 12.3 billion But in the breakdown, they had much more than that. They said it was in tranches of 5.2 billion, 6.2 billion, 6.1 billion, 1.5 billion, and 500 million between 2013 and 2014 in Lagos. They said that these parties had framed, forged, as well as arranged, knowing that this was false, certain payments from the First Bank to different companies. They said let me do the breakdown. In the fourth count, they accused them of conspiring to spend 6.15 billion out of funds. They also accused them of pretense that the said sum was representing credit facilities applied for and disbursed to Stallion Nigerian Group. They also gathered this kind of money and facilities that they applied for between them for different companies, the VTech Dynamics Limited, the Stallion Nigeria Limited, and several other limited, which are broken down in this, and they will be arraigned for this entire amount of money. I'm just pained because I have deep respect for Chief Obawotudeko as Honeywell chairman, and I'm surprised that this can be tainting. I hope he comes out acquitted, but I think just being accused of it taints.
There's a lot of accusation that happened. Doesn't necessarily mean it is.
No.
Yeah, the federal government debunks the Third Mainland Bridge damage rumor, and the federal government has debunked the rumor that the Third Mainland Bridge is shaking, describing it as baseless and driven by ulterior motives. The News Agency of Nigeria reports that the message on social media platforms such as WhatsApp and Facebook claimed a part of the Third Mainland Bridge had opened up and the bridge was shaking. The Federal Controller of Works in Lagos State, Olu Korode Kesha, said on Thursday that the message were false and should be disregarded. She spoke while touring the bridge with journalists. The Honorable Minister has directed that I come out to tell Lagosians and Nigerians that there is nothing wrong with the bridge. The rumor is the handbook of mischief columnists, those who are idle and those who think that the political atmosphere is too quiet for them. That is why we have come here. I took my time and I took journalists around to go through the length of through the entire length of the 11-kilometer bridge. We drove around this bridge. We came back and we saw nothing. So they are debunking that we are using this opportunity to tell the motoring public, Lagosians and Nigerians, that the bridge is safe. The integrity is not in doubt.
Can we now Can we sue the people?
Where the news came from?
Yes, they should.
Because they just fixed the bridge
that bridge since we moved here back to Ikeja every day, and I have not seen.
And
I was saying my beautiful journey.
Very nice.
Nothing is shaking. Anyways, I have the Ogun State Police Command on Thursday said its operatives have arrested a 14-year-old pervert, 14-year-old man. He's a private security man who allegedly defiled a 6-year-old inside the building in the Federal University of Agriculture.
14-year-old.
He's a 44-year-old pervert, 44-year-old security guy that defiled a 6-year-old inside the building in the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. So the mother, who has a shop inside the campus, went and reported to the incident to the police because she had said that she went to, but somehow, as it was defiling the child, if another female, someone that was passing, a student, saw what was going on and then stopped, the act. The woman had said that she left her daughter in the shop, and then her younger brother in charge of her daughter and the shop, and went to the market. Then, as they were there, that the brother called her, as she was in the market, brother called her and said that her daughter ran into the shop frightened, and he asked what's the problem. She now told him that the security personnel took her to his workshop in another building and put his manhood inside of her. So the police, they are investigating the matter.
I'm happy that there will be. I'm happy that the lady was
able
able to.
And could express.
Yes, because usually
herself.
when it doesn't get expressed, the perpetrator continues to do the same evil act to other people. I wanted to quickly take the story of INEC deleting 7,746 deceased people from the voters register, and they said they've been having issues with this thing because they don't have people die and the record isn't synchronized. But now they've been able to take out 7,746 deceased people from the voter register, and they have 12,298,944 new registrants into this process. People, There's a case I even need help in Nima on this person dying matter, because when people die and you don't have anybody that can properly follow through with the case, it's a major crisis. Moving on to the Daily Sun. We need to just take one story as we rush fast. Governors Forum has endorsed the revised VAT sharing formula. We've taken that story. $52.88 million repatriated assets. Tuga engages U.S. Secretary of State over bilateral operation orders. Federal government replies Sanusi, tells Emir to keep support to himself. Budget defense, lawmakers fight over IGP. The police boss says Tinubu has approved recruitment of 10,000 to 30,000 officers. Lokobiri assures Nigerians on fuel availability and quality control. EFCC to arraign Otudeko, we've taken that story. And the defense headquarters also, we've taken that story. Which are we taking here?
Let me just take the repatriated assets. So this is just PR from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. According to the report, the Ministry of Foreign, spokesperson of the ministry, Kimi Ebi Imomoti Timi Eben, if I'm sure she's Ijo, said that the minister, Tugo, had a phone conversation. Sorry, let me call his full name. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Maitama Tugar, had engaged the United States Deputy Secretary of State, Kurt Campbell, on bilateral cooperation, commending the U.S. for the repatriation of the money, which was proceeds of a luxury real estate and the Galactica Star super yacht that was belonging to our former Minister of Petroleum. He commended that. He encouraged that, we involve technology in, dealing with to transform our digital assets into mutual beneficial venture. And that was what basically the phone call was about. It was a phone call after this money had been brought. I was hoping that there was more, because I feel that, the U.S. having to dispose of those assets on our behalf and then just giving us the cash and then giving us terms might not totally be fair for us. This money, this property had been in their hands, the proceeds has been in their hands. I feel that there will still be some form of benefit, corruption-wise, to the people who buy them. I feel it might have been undervalued.
All right, so
those who are stealing property abroad.
There are two crude oil fuel-related stories. So one is the fact that OPEC has said that Nigeria oil production has dropped, and I think it's important for Nigerians to know, because we have this false assumption that there's a lot of money coming in. However, somehow, based on the people, some people, powerful people within Nigeria, we are unable to meet our quota for production. It even dropped lower than expected in December, which of course would impact on the revenue that we can make from oil. But aside from that, the minister said that there will be availability of products.
At least.
We cannot control price. That is to say, price can go up and go down based on.
There will be products.
But there will be products. Availability will be around. People are also jostling to get. Dangote has created incentives for those that are buying in bulk the petrol from him. So they say people are adjusting to get that products will be available. Price might fluctuate, but there will be products. Moving on to Nigeria.
Look for the price that pays us.
We'll find the filling station. That's the beauty of the regulation. Let's move on to Nigerian Tribune, or is it Vanguard we should take? Let me do Vanguard. I can see more people want to have stories in Vanguard. Major headline, the tax bill. We've taken that story already about the fact that the governors offer a new formula for sharing VAT proceeds. But the federal government to Emir Sanusi, we don't need your approval for Tinubu's laudable policies. And rowdy session in National Assembly as IGP presents 2025 budget. So those two stories, who has...
Okay, I have the rowdy session, and I think it was totally avoidable. So yesterday, the IGP of the Inspector General of Police, Egbetokun, was presenting the budget, defending the budget before the committee on police, and he was reading from a document which the Deputy Chief of the Senate, Senator Peter Nwanyeboyi, was saying that, what I have before me is different. This was even raised by another senator representing the Pashkin Kanem Kanke Federal Constituency. And when that was called for, I think that the chairman of that committee should have stepped things down and compared the document and given the right document. But he insisted that the IGP should complete or summarize what he was saying. And the senators were saying he's reading from a different document. And I saw the session, the video, and I also read today. It was totally avoidable. You should have stepped things down, confirm the documents, ensure that the right document, and then you proceed.
It's just about
But then it
organization.
became a shouty session because one person just wanted to get away. If you're not qualified as a chairperson to lead you, some things are just simple. It was a simple matter, but the senator was then provoked to stage a walkout, after which he later came back into...
I'll be something I'm annoying
yes.
before.
So,
No, but he was calling
don't
for
have
the right
much
thing.
time.
The IGP
don't have
can
much
present
time.
something different.
So the Senate Committee on Court, the federal government yesterday told the Emir of Kano, His Highness Mohammed Sanusi Lamido, that it does not need his stamp of approval over what it described as laudable policies of the government. The government also told the Emir, who was the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, to rise above personal interest and partisan undertones and prioritize the greater good of Nigerians. This is as a response to what the Emir said at the 21st memorial lecture of Chief Gani Fayomi in Lagos, where he had said that he would not offer any advice to this administration or to the president because on how to tackle economic challenges facing the country. But then they are saying that, first of all, that they acknowledge that he has his right to express himself and his opinion, either in form or commendation or criticism on how the government is being run. But however, they find it amusing that a leader, more so one from an institution that ennobles forthrightness, fairness, and justice, will publicly admit to shutting off saying the truth because of personal interest or imaginary antagonisms. Yes, whichever
Nigeria will move forward.
Anyhow, I'm still in love with
we'll be all right.
Yes, I do have pressure. I'm partial.
Just to wrap up this one, they are just telling us that in Benue, the butchers are resorting to roasting cows and goats with tires. And medical experts are saying that it is harmful. It is harmful for the butchers and it is harmful for the buyers. Because butchers said that it comes cheap and it makes their work easy. But if it makes your work easy, does it also make it easy for you? You are going.
So I think that was a very good story to highlight. People should be aware. Roasting your cattle or your butchers shouldn't roast their meat with tires. It is poisonous for us and for the environment. That's what we can take on Front Page Review for today. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we go through our stories for today. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. A popular vendor on Instagram posted something on her timeline and we thought it was worth discussing. She said that she remembered the story of her friend who passed away in December 2023. Guess what? The husband got married last month, December 2024, for a woman that sacrificed 20 years of her life and gave 4 kids to this man between the age of 9 and 20. 1 year, according to her, is too soon to remarry. We'd like to hear your thoughts on this, so join the conversation by calling us on 090-241-63440, or you could tweet to us at TVC Connects. Please hashtag YourViewTVC. Of course, I have some of my ladies on the YouTube. So if you drop a comment on YouTube, we would also read it as well. So here, we listen, we don't judge. So don't judge us. We just want to give our opinion because this friend came out feeling sad that it seems that in just 1 year, her friend is being forgotten. So I want to get your opinion. What do you think about this? Do you feel like the fact that the man remarried means that her friend is being forgotten, or does the fact that he remarried just exactly a year after, does it mean that he has forgotten about the wife, or he doesn't love the former wife, or what do you think? Because in most cases, the opposite is the case for women. Women will stay 20 years, and many women will never marry after they've lost the love of their life, their first LOML.
Is it the love of your life that you wanted to pass before, that you have been praying that you should pass? Women don't stay on that again. I think that things are rapidly changing, and I think religious-wise or traditional-wise, there's no clause for when. I just think that morally is what we all hinge on. Oh, this is the moral thing to do because she has spent 20 years of her life with you, because she has spent 30 years of her life with you. I mean, I just went to Google now because I know my mom is a pastor, and I know that we've thought about this thing, marriage and remarrying. the only tenet in the Bible that supports remarrying is when your spouse dies. And even the Bible that we all run to, I'm sure that Alajatu will have references from the Quran. Even the Bible we all run to didn't stipulate a time. Because now the Bible doesn't even want you to fornicate. So in the process of your grieving, you would have needs. Let's not be oblivious of that fact. You will have needs, which could sometimes be bedroom needs. So instead of you picking 1, 2, 3 and so many other women, pick one and continue life. So I think it's just the moral standard that makes us heavy on, oh, she just died, oh, he just passed. There's no time frame at all anywhere that says that. Maybe traditions will say, oh, a woman should mourn her husband for 90 days, for 3 months. Some traditions will say, oh, 41 days. Some will say after 6 months. So these things differ. But I think that people should not castigate people if they want to move on with their life. The death of a spouse does not mean that your life should end. And the way that you can grieve or the way you want to immortalize your spouse, it solely depends on you. Nobody would, in this situation that the person is saying less than a year, who knows how much that woman has stepped in for that man in a year? Who knows if that woman was actually the shoulder the man cried on in that space of 1 year?
I couldn't believe this.
So yes. So I feel that nobody should put a gag on anybody's throat for wanting to be them or do them.
Wow.
Okay,
interesting.
So, that the person remarries does not mean that the person stopped loving. You know, as Dami said, there are sexual needs to a survivor, male or female, that must be met within the boundaries of God. And marriage is ordained by God. If marriage wasn't ordained, some of us were not married. That's the truth. And so it's the only legitimate way that some people are wired to have,
procreate,
you know, sexual activity. And if it is not done, every other activity outside it is either fornication or adultery. And it doesn't measure that the person you're with is loved. You know, I know some women who have married men whose wives have passed, and they say they cannot understand how they are sharing their husbands with dead women. Because you can hardly do anything right. You turn, if Dagbaja was here, if Tamedu was here, this is how she makes her stew. Oh, if the mother of my kids were here. I know men who, a man was compelled by his relatives to marry. He ended up marrying 2. Because one sister was bringing one woman, the other one was bringing one woman. They even spike him to be drunk. This person is my uncle. Calm down.
So very close story.
Let me not give my opinion.
The late wife was my own relative. The late wife, and we all felt slighted because whatever they worked for together, my auntie did not wait to chop it at all. As in, it was an unexpected death. I remember my father felt so saddened when it was called that she had an ulcer attack and she was rushed to the Navy Town Hospital. By the time my father got there and they said she died, my father just couldn't understand how, from a very healthy person, very respectful, my auntie would pull everyone together, how she just passed. And so his friend, the husband now, have relocated back home. One person was here dragging. He has to remarry. The house in question was my auntie's sold seed. And all the women that wanted to enter, the 2 of them forced their way in. Whatever they did, 2 of them would do naming after a year.
Wonderful.
Yes. So it's real life. But I want to believe, because I know that man and my auntie and how their marriage was, that he's in a loveless relationship with those 2 women. He's not
gone but not forgotten.
Exactly. And the house has not been the same.
The way people are going to, I do not support. As like in my mind, I'm just waiting. I'm not calling me here as in like.
And in your support, remember you're moderating this show. Let me talk my own. Yes, so that is inevitable, and nobody prays to die young or to die early. Do you understand? But then the issue of remarrying is this very subjective one, because it varies from one person to the other. It's an individual decision and stuff. But then let's take it back to culture. Traditionally, I would always speak from an Igbo girl perspective, where after the mourning period, I know culturally back in the day, when a woman loses her husband, after the mourning period, she's now then giving to her husband's brothers, one of them, to continue the marriage. Do you understand? At that point, do they say, oh no, because you should have mourned, he just died, you do not love him, or love? No, those matter. They're more focused on continuity, on the children, you know, on emotional.
Those marriages are not meant to be consummated, right?
No, nobody says so. No. There are no rules and regulations to it is marriage. And and you decide, yes, yeah. And then emotional stability, continuity for the kids, and a security that they feel that a man also gives to the woman within the home system. And this is us as Igbo people. And over time, that culture had, then I say, okay, now you can't force the woman. Now the woman has to decide what she wants to do. And then look at it too, like from the angle, like you said, fornication, committing sin, and the marriage is ordained by God, and that's the only cover where you can actually have sexual activities and not condemn. So instead of when you're talking about diseases, bringing different women around your children, and it's important to create stability for them. By I think it's an honorable thing to do. By even marrying one person and bringing the person home for children is not easy, especially if maybe the history between that man and his wife has been that maybe the man is a provider, never around. Most fathers are like that, where the woman is the constant person at home. If that's the setup that they had, and the man is clueless as to what to do, in that situation, and he decides to remarry, that is his business. We should learn to leave people to do them. In this life, there are no rules and regulations or law or morals against remarrying. As if they do you, I beg, do them. And it doesn't mean that you don't love who died, who you married before. And then there's also a possibility that that person you married before, maybe you don't even love her, and this new person where you won't come love. Life is funny. Life is funny. And that's the reality of life. And sometimes some men learn their mistakes from the former marriage or things that they feel they didn't do right. Because I have a friend that lost his wife during COVID, and then he keeps saying that there's so many things that he didn't do right and everything, and now he knows better. Whoever he's going to marry now, he's going to have the best part of him, because he learns, and unfortunately,
everybody's in the laboratory. Moderator, over to you.
Because I honestly do not agree. I hear you. I just believe that love is an action word. And if you truly loved your spouse, you will not be in a hurry to replace them for any reason. I feel that a lot of times we give concession because we admit there is a vulnerability to being a man, or a vulnerability that you cannot control your sexual needs or sexual urge. But if there is a medical condition that is preventing your partner, like imagine you're in a relationship with someone and for 1 year you cannot do anything. You might as well not be, you're not getting that sexual satisfaction. So you will not be faithful to that person because you cannot control yourself or worth. I don't agree with the idea that, personally, I don't agree with the fact that within a year of losing a partner, you can fall in love again.
Within a year.
I fall in love again. I'm saying my opinion. I do not believe, and I believe that marriage should be born out of... I like the caveat,
falling in love. You might marry and not fall in love.
Marriage should be born out of love.
No, not all marriages are like that.
Maybe you will let me land my own opinion. Marriage should be born out of love. Yes, to serve the purpose of companionship. There's a cultural statement I've heard over and over again. Who will help him take care of the children? They are your children. You are not marrying a full-grown human being to help you take care of your children. And any woman that is submitting herself and her life to help a man raise children, you should look at yourself again and wonder, so my life is to come and help this man to raise his children? We need to understand. When we moved to the island last week, I had to stay in my in-laws' place, and somebody was asking me, so who is taking care of your children? I said, who is taking care of my children? They are our children. I have a husband who also is the father of those children. Why are you asking me, a woman, who is taking care of my children when I'm not around? What is the man, who is the father, doing? As foundational as it is, once we get it right that husbands and wives are fathers and mothers, and both are responsible, it won't be once one person die, you will say you cannot handle again. How would you look at a woman who comes up and say, I need help to take care of these children, so I have remarried after 6 months? They will call that woman names. And that people do. We cannot deny it. They do.
They do.
But if a man does it, they will understand that somebody is helping you to raise your children. Let's address that. A raising of children.
I want to address.
A raising of children.
You are talking
like they can do a good job.
Ideal. Oyibo is your Oyibo, it's Oyibo ideal, because I'm going to tell you what is African
There's no
ideal.
Oyibo.
African
It's just
ideal is
my-
that the man goes out, hunts, and brings home. The woman stays home, nurtures. So there are two different things. If a woman is already used to nurturing, nobody will have to go and hunt. So she will need help. And if one allergy is somewhere that can go and hunt and bring money, she will remarry. She doesn't have to love him. Is to make it
Protection,
functional. It's
stability.
functionality that looking, stability.
Yes, stability.
If the man has always been hunting, if they tell him to come and wash ordinary plate, talk less of to change diaper, he will not understand it. He will need a nurturer. He doesn't have to love the person. And they can have an arrangement. They can discuss it. Amaka was explaining to you. You see what they used to do in those days. It's not beyond even keeping the woman to continue procreating. It's also to ensure that properties within the family do not go out.
I understand that part.
We cannot continue to see everything from an emotional point of view. I was telling you my own auntie. I used to stay for her to go and meet him. That man was in the military for a long time. I used to keep her kids as a university student for her to go and see her husband when the military would not allow him. She waited for years. When he was in service, long period, he won't be with his children. By the time he was retiring, and they had planned where they would just retire to, my auntie died. It's my own auntie.
We'll take a quick break now. When we return, you all know where I stand on this matter. I'm the emotional lover girl. I've never denied that part. But let's talk about the children when we come back. Stay with us. Be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Everybody on YouTube is feeling for me. Apparently, they don't understand my opinion. They just feel I was just getting a lot of But Amaka, you were waiting to say something before we move on to the children.
I'm a lover girl. I'm a lover girl to the core. But the reality is this, right? There are women that maybe when they are sick or something happens, they will tell their spouse that, please promise me that you will remarry, that you will move on. I don't want you to just stay in a hole and you can't move on with your life. I want you to meet somebody. I want to have I think, and I'm that kind of person. I want you to be happy regardless of whatever it is that we share. If God forbid something happens, I want to love you to the point that I want you to be happy. Leave the dead to bury the dead. Let the living continue to live. If we promise to share the rest of our lives, do everything together, and unfortunately, if one of us goes, let me love you well enough for you to have a full life, a wholesome life for both you and me. That is my belief.
In the respect of children, I believe that even before a spouse passes, both women and men should learn responsibility of taking care of their children. There's a lot of deficit that happens when a spouse dies, and we see it a lot, and that's why we are clamoring, they treat widows bad. There are so many widows that are balling, as in they are on a 2-4 steady. Their death in December is starting from January throughout the year, because they have worked. They have mastered responsibility. There are a lot of women in marriages that pay school fees before their husband refunds or reimburses them. So you want to tell me that if that kind of a woman loses her spouse one way or the other, she will just go back to the drawing table and replan if she wants in her mind. Because one reason most women don't remarry early is because of the children. So that somebody is not taking attention, somebody is not needing attention, somebody is not saying, oh, but your husband, your children, this and that. So sometimes, even while your partner is alive, learn to take some responsibility. Learn to step into some shoes. Learn to buy petrol that your partner has been buying for 6 years. Buy it like few months. Know how it is. Pay NEPA bill. Do things on your own that even your partner will be sure. There are some men that know that they are married to women that if they pass, they know life will continue for them good and their children will not suffer. But some men have started seeing it that Yalaga that cannot buy Maggie 5 naira. If I die, I must suffer.
So that's on the financial responsibility side of the children. I would like to talk on the psychological side of the children. We'll take Mercy has called in. Let me take Mercy before I give my opinion on this matter. Welcome to the show, Mercy. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Hello, Mercy. Are you there? Awesome. Yes, welcome to the show. You're live.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm very happy to see this matter on television. It's a straight matter. Any man found marrying after 1 year that the wife died, or within 1 year, already knows the woman is married. Either that is the side chick, or his housemate or his girlfriend somewhere that nobody.
He has been checking the girl. Thank you.
Yes. Because some of them, you see them around their sales girls and some other people, and you'll be thinking they are friends and all that. You don't know they are warming up. Because some ladies warm up to come into your home, unknown to you. So once they find out that the wife of that man dies, that the next thing you find out that she'll be the first one that will come to that house and be making tea, pap, and all that for the man to date. And people will be thinking she's helping. She's helping nobody. She's warming up. She's warming up.
Thank you so much, Mercy.
I'm talking.
Okay. So, I was talking about the emotional health of the children. The average, I know that there are, Nima has given an example a few times of meeting someone and getting married. But even 1 year before you marry. People meet and then in 6 months you get married because you know what you are doing. You do 1 year, you get married. But when you are a father or you are a mother, and this isn't gender, I'm not saying, even if I don't believe that remarrying is a problem. It's not a crime to remarry. I just feel that there should be enough time for you to understand the new phase you are going into, especially because of your emotional, if you were in any way emotionally attached to your former partner, heal before you bring that burden into another person's life. And then for the children to be able to understand the experience they've just dealt with, which is losing one parent, before you now bring another person to be mommy or another person to become daddy. Sometimes you find someone that is a good person to you as a partner, but a terrible person to your children. And many children have had to live with that trauma. Nima, I know you will have several stories of the new mother that does not cook, or the new father that does not pay school fees, or the new father that is now sleeping with the daughter. We've seen those stories. It is because we are not taking the time to heal before jumping into another relationship. We are not taking the time to understand the person you want to get into a relationship with. People can pretend for a year, I understand, and some can pretend for 5 years. You might know somebody for 5 years, but the idea that a man or a woman will lose someone, and in 1 year you already feel, I know this person enough to put my generation, my children into your hands. I just feel it's a hurry. And you just said something. I want to hear from Nima. I'll come to you. Because Nima is looking at me. What he wrote there.
I not wrote there. So it's a fact that, somebody, if we're discussing a loss of a person here, so maybe the loss of the woman as the story that we're dealing with, or the loss of their father, somebody is dealing with grief. And so grief varies per person. But as I explained, you have to sit the children down and discuss a necessity. We're dealing with a need.
There's a vacuum.
Yes, a vacuum. There's something that person is coming in to do, and it's a need, and you have to be able to explain it to them. And if they're of age, even the sexual need that you have that must be met between the bounds of God, you will explain to those children to let them understand the important place that their late family relative holds. You not to treat them anyhow, discard them, and expect them to move on. Now, I hope that people will not now judge the people who hold torchlights on the person that has come in. For instance, this story, this new wife, if she was in our own family, we will hold torchlights. If she knock the baby head, we will show up. If she cook and the tea is salty, or that the child is sleeping outside, we will show up. Because you cannot now call it discipline when the child is still grieving that I need to train her more. You knew their mother just passed when they married you. You cannot come in and not have the wisdom.
Well, many people have that wisdom.
That's why the police
and I really want us to talk about this parenting, this children side. Because it's not easy to parent a child that is grieving and children act out.
It's not easy. It's not easy.
Let me take this call. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, Topper.
Good morning.
Yes, my name is Tosa. I'm calling from Akute. I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Yes. I lost my mom 2021, but barely a year that she died, my dad got married, remarried. So when I asked him, Alaji, why the sudden, why did you get married? He said, show money pay, yeah, it's a long thing. I'm like, but at least it's something you should have even discussed. with us, the children, not just take up this the decision. Then the woman made me realize that she had already been in the picture. Yes. So I'm like, oh, okay. So this is just an avenue, regardless of what my father was going through. Then your own was at least the this thing is clear now. You just it is well. We women should just take care of ourselves.
And you were all adults, and yet you felt this way?
Yes, all adults. No, the last born is 32 years. Yes, so the woman had her intention, like, okay, barely 1 year, she can't just wait. She just wants to come into the family. That she has been, listen me, barely kokonle in Yoruba, the way she said it. So I'm like, it is well.
I think what I wanted to say is actually around what she mentioned. I feel that when a partner dies or when a partner passes, the other partner loses touch with the children somehow. It's more with men. Because, a new woman has stepped in. He needs to give her the time, the attention. They need to grow. They need to talk about things. So I've always seen that discord. It happened with my auntie too, barely 6 months after. I remember that my mom was crying because it was her older sister. Her children were not too grown, but at least the first two were grown enough. And they felt this pain. They are my direct cousin. They felt this pain because they felt their father should have at least informed them, called them that, there will be a change in maybe lifestyle, in the pattern we live, because this new person is also going to bring in her pattern. Don't disregard it. That the way your mother has been training you will be different. So a lot of time, men especially lose touch with their children under the guise that they have a new mother. You people should learn to know her. Even when children are having issues with the new wife, the man is always castigating them most times because you people are rigid, but your mom has gone. But you people should learn the new woman. But you people should give her peace. But you people should understand her too. Oh, she's new in the family and a lot of that. But I still think that there should be times that these fathers, as widowers, will have personal and private times with their children to ask them how they are moving, how they are coping psychologically. Do you even get to ask your children if they by chance like the new woman you have brought? You will hear things if your ears are really on the ground. But because they close that circle and they are uptight to it because they don't want to maybe perceive or listen to the negative parts. It's not everybody that can take criticism. If they are telling daddy that we are the one that stays with mommy, your new wife, you understand? And she's somehow like this. And daddy will be like, no, it's because you people are fighting for your mother. But sometimes they see. And you that you are not at home, that you are never in the house, they are telling you the way to move. But you are neglecting your children because you have a new partner. That's where I believe that a lot of children who are caught in the web of losing one of the parents actually have a problem with either of their parents. Some women too do it when they have a new man. It's like, Baba, I understand, I need to move on. And they are drifting from these children. These children are an entity that two people formed. It's a contract. Anything binding in the contract, all the parties must be aware and they must be involved.
We'll take a quick break. When we return, I'll come to you, Amaka. I know Amaka is waiting to say something. When we return, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. So, you see, these people have come to my side of the table.
Oh, wow.
In the initial stage, you were all of the opinion remarry. But now we are discussing psychological trauma on the children. And now you are saying that, there's some truth to this matter. Amaka, you are shaking your head.
Yes, because I'm not, don't use style.
Amaka, don't disappoint us.
I mean, I can never disappoint you people. Don't use style now to come and coin it and look like that we're on your side. We are not on your side. We're just saying that when it comes to kids, teenagers, right, let's differentiate things. And then let's also not look at just the bad aspect of remarrying. How about the good aspect of, most times, some men don't know how to grieve. Some children don't know what to do with themselves when they lose a parent. How about that you're fortunate to marry a good person, whether male or female, that comes into the home with maturity and puts everybody together. There are situations where it was the new husband or the new wife that now came and created emotional stability within that home. And see, my sister's very close friend, when she did her wedding, we did not even believe that her stepfather is not her father.
You see?
the car, everything. That's in the way they love him and stuff. Do you understand? It depends in this life, whether you're remarrying or remarrying, we pray to mate with a good person. A kind person. That's the prayer. So you cannot pick or choose. Sometimes, like you say, people pretend or people don't pretend. Sometimes they have witches and wizards, people that are plotting or whatever. But the goal here at the end of the day is to marry a kind person. My auntie, my mom's sister, when she passed, she passed from cancer. Their father is a pastor. He remarried, and he called the kids before doing that to say.
I did not say we should not remarry. It's the time.
The time. And he said, no, because we're talking about the kids and psychology and kids healing and stuff.
Balance.
Yeah, balance. And he said, and he told the kids that he wants to remarry, so he wants to remarry and everything. And the kids were happy. That's the funny thing. They were happy about that because they felt like that their dad needed companionship. Their dad needed someone to also take care of him. In their own situation, their father married a more mature woman. Do you understand? And the way this woman treats his children and vice versa, you would think, as in, has she been there all along? Yes, they have a great relationship, very respectful woman and stuff like that. She didn't have kids, but then she now finally adopted a child. Then my uncle passed. The lady still lives in the house. The children take care of her. They have a great and wonderful relationship. So at the end of the day, when someone comes in, let the person be good. Let the person come with positive energy. Treat the children and the husband right. And it's not like you're coming to erase the memory of the person who left. So at the end of the day, like I said, let's marry people that are matured. It's not necessarily about love, maturity, and be ready to be in the marriage.
Sometimes you might not marry somebody that is mature, but just marry somebody that is receptive, somebody that you can talk to, somebody that is open. Because most times we also look at it in the aspect that, okay, because of the children, some people remarry basically because of these children in quotes. And these children, at the end of the day, they might not cooperate with either the man or the woman. Now, it takes us back to the fact that, okay, why did you remarry? If we're looking at children, like Tope said when we were on break, you look at children, you look at teenagers, then you look at adults. Some adults can cope, and some adults can be very edgy. And they will.
We just had a caller that was almost crying on the phone. She felt bad.
If we look at it on the other side, it's because most of these adults that get edgy, maybe they feel that there's something not right about that relation. We have side chicks in this life that are praying for first wife to die. First wife, please, you people should tighten your nails because some people outside are praying that you should leave so they will come. It's just the blunt truth. But the person that is going now, my problem is the people who are going in. You that they want to marry into a family that has already been established. You know that definitely there are some templates on ground. It's not your time, or it's not on you to now come. It's not your place to come and say, no, the way you people have learned over 20 years, you discard it. Learn the ropes, follow the line. At the end of the day, like I said, they might eventually even love you more and appreciate the fact that you've come in for their father or you've come in for their mother. So we should also look at making the children our friends first, because the way to get to any father or mother first is the kids. If you love them enough, they will see that love in you and they'll be able to accept you, and the family will accept you.
Can we discuss the surviving spouse making the kids feel secure? You can marry 2 weeks after their mother have died, but if you have loved your kids enough and that they have no doubt as to how much you love them, they will not have a question about how you're remarrying and why. Like I said, it's not a relationship that you do. It's not something that you do without conversing with your kids, no matter their ages. And you don't, without
no matter their ages, children,
yes,
you should talk to them.
2, 3.
Yes, they are remarrying.
You have to talk to them.
You know, I have seen a 4-year-old who, look at my son. If I were to die today, the father remarry, my son would never love that person.
It will be a battle.
It will be a battle. Because ordinarily we are playing, I will slap my husband. My son will laugh. It's okay. But my husband will mistakenly slap me. Don't you touch my mommy like that. So some kids are like that. He will never see us playing. We are joking. I will do my own. It's just mommy. My husband will say, didn't you see your mommy now? But she's playing with you, but do the same. You are not playing with her. That's the unfairness. And so some kids love like that. You must have that conversation with them. I know someone who remarried 6 months after the wife died. Family pressure. And so what he did, maybe he didn't trust the new wife. He just engaged all those children. The guy, one of the children is abroad now. he made sure that after school they are going to their place, they are learning work. That guy was closing school, going to the mechanic place, he was learning work. So he worked with a car service company, and he was able to. He made sure that is when he is closing, all the children will remain with the people they are learning work from. Is when he is closing that they follow and go home. When they are going in the morning, you give them their feeding money. They don't even eat from their stepmother's pot. Tobati Loba, he will give them, everybody hold their food flasks. He will go to the Yolo gem. I don't know. I think I just felt he didn't trust that woman.
Because he married under pressure. So he's giving time to know the woman. So at least, before I expose you to my children, let me know you well enough.
Thank you. So the woman was serving the purpose for which she came in.
Which is
his kids were, well, he was on top of things. You see the one that is wicked. The friend I lost recently, the man have abandoned that woman for years.
Even
before she passed. He came 2 weeks as she was in there on her deathbed. And he now be telling children, Mama, I will send you small thing. I told you, don't bother, don't call him, don't share anything. Because if he was going to send you small thing, he would have been sending it to your mother.
Before she died.
When she was struggling to send you to school. So you people should just focus on the part your mother put you. And
I feel, Amaka mentioned earlier, as the host of the show, I'm not supposed to, I can't take a side. I'm supposed to balance out the show. She mentioned earlier that there's really no right or wrong. In the true sense of it, when it comes to life and relationship, there's really no right or wrong. To each his own. As a society, we can look and be judging that how can you do this? This is not right. But we are not inside the relationship to understand where the shoe is pinching. It would just make sense that we take care of the vulnerable. And the vulnerable in this case is the child, are the children involved. Yes, even the widower or widow is vulnerable, but the most vulnerable are the children. And a lot of times teenagers act out when they lose one of their parents. And sometimes we don't understand it, and we start blaming the teenager for acting out, or some people abandon the teenagers and say that it's not only you that your parents died now, and this and all of that. So I think it takes time. Marriage requires wisdom. Marrying a widower or a widow requires even more wisdom. Counseling, emotional therapy, all those things need to take place. But I have a celebrity guest, and I'll be bringing her to join this conversation. Just to hear her opinion before we go into our interview. So we'll take a break. When we return, we'll be having a celebrity guest join the conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Number of business under her belt. She's a dedicated wife, a mother. Welcome with us to the show, Mariam Adeyemi Tima. Yes. I want Real Housewife things. Well, we've been discussing something.
Real Housewife.
Real Housewife.
Mrs. Lover.
Mrs. Lover girl. So we're discussing this popular Instagram entrepreneur posted about how her friend, seemingly, she died December 2023, and the husband remarried December 2024, and she feels broken. She feels like this is not right, and I was of the opinion that there should be more time. What first was your initial response to the fact that she feels it was too short for the remarriage to take place? They were married for 20 years. Perspective.
20 years is long, number one. So for him to remarry within 1 year, the question is, was that person in his life before his wife passed? Number one. Number two, does it need a companion? I don't want to use the word sexually, I don't know.
Yeah, it's okay.
No, it's okay. It's the reality.
Okay,
It's your view.
If you need a companion sexually, I don't mind dating. You can date for a period of time before you bring that person in. But I think a year is too short for me. My opinion, God forbid, if my enemy dies today, my husband cannot marry because I'll be hunting.
You will not go rest.
I would not rest. I'll be hunting that house 24/7. I'm not going to lie. We've talked about it. No, we've talked about it because death can come anytime, any day. Death has nothing to do with age. Do you understand? So these are the things we've spoken about. And I said, don't bother remarrying because
I'm going to be present ever.
Auntie, rest, I beg. Please. So, 20 years, you know, marriage is life. It can be up today, it can be down tomorrow. It could be anything. You cannot guess the stage that marriage was at the time of death. So just to bring into perspective a 1-year period before remarriage, if at the time she died, love had ended in that marriage and there was already a helper somewhere, would it not be okay for within a year?
It can be, but we have to understand that there are some men that can be alone. They can never be alone. Men are not built to be alone.
Okay.
They're not. That's why God literally took us out from their ribs. So most men cannot be alone in a relationship. They have to be in a relationship. They have to be taken care of. So depending on this person's personality, probably his wife used to do everything around the house. You know, the little things that he took for granted probably. So it might just be his personality, not being alone. They're always in a relationship.
Even within a marriage.
Does he have to love the new woman?
For him not to even love his wife, you said something earlier, probably they had ups and downs.
Yeah.
A man can compromise for 20 years, for 50 years, just because they don't want to be alone. Just because they are used to a routine.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts in terms of the man having a conversation with the kids, in terms of, especially when you have little or teenage kids, in terms of protecting them when you bring in another
absolutely,
spouse?
you have to have the conversation. You can't even escape it, because you're not just, Yoruba says this thing, you're not just, can I speak Yoruba?
Yes, please.
Only okogidi dunfe and not buruku neko duni. When you marry someone, you marry their entire family.
I love that angle.
Yes.
Because sometimes everything we've been saying since now, we've been talking about the person as an individual.
person.
But if you have a good family,
You marry their
they
entire
might not
family,
agree.
and the kids are involved, no matter how small they are.
That's true. Okay, if we're going to look at it, looking at the topic at hand, I think we often castigate women more for waiting because of these children. But if a woman remarries, society will say, oh, maybe she has even been seeing the person before. The same thing happens to men. There might have been somebody in the picture knowing that, oh, he might not even have interest in her, but the moment the wife passes, it's like, out of all the guests, it's like this one head corrects one. But now for a woman, what kind of spouse should a woman who has lost her spouse, what kind of spouse should she be looking for again? Knowing fully well that she has turned to Atilu.
Upgraded version.
Do you understand? Upgraded version. And you're your Odile. So that somebody also needs to attend to the children.
But this has to do with our culture in Nigeria.
Yes.
Around all over the country, it's not really like that. Nigeria is our culture. A woman is supposed to, if you're a widow, they don't expect you to even remarry. They expect you to just go back to your husband's house, your mother-in-law's house, and be taking care of the entire family and your children.
Now you choose. Now you choose, really.
So it has a lot to do with our culture.
So our culture is a choice. You stay because you are holding for your kids their inheritance from their dad.
Yes.
So if you don't want to hold it, maybe you have your own, and you can go. It's you that choose. That's the exemption to our culture that most people that is spoken about. In even all the way to the Igbo culture, it is about the lineage and the property that your legacy of your husband. So if you don't want to,
we were saying something earlier, and what you said sort of ties a bit into it when you spoke about the proverb of you're marrying the family.
Yeah.
That some families would insist on the man remarrying.
Yes, and not the woman.
There are some family, like the family would insist the man remarries, and some family would insist the woman does not remarry. So and we might be picking on the man without understanding the pressure that the man is going through. So can you talk about, have you had any experience that has to do with this, where there was pressure from family and all of that? And I'd also like to hear your opinion about how it is in the you don't live, we're not here all the time. So in the US, when you over there, is it the same kind of conversation? Does this kind of thing happen over there?
Don't bring it up. Like, I said something about normalizing things in Nigeria here. We have organizations called the widowers, Have you ever heard the other version of the mill? They've normalized it. So this is a thing here. And there are a lot, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, from my mother's side, from my dad's side, from my grandparents' side, these are widowers. And they all died single.
remarrying.
Without remarrying. My mom is single, and I'm the last child. She left my dad, I think, was 2 years old. She had dated because she was 25 when she had me. She started early. She has 3 kids. And she dated, but she never remarried till this. My mom is going to be 62.
Is there a reason? No, she didn't find a suitable person, or she just
she's a lover girl,
closed it.
number one, but she got to a stage in her life around when she was in her 40s, and she just like, oh, it's my children. Like right now, if somebody say, Miriam, your mom is beautiful, I say, mommy, carry your bag, we're going. Because you need a companion.
Are you trying to matchmmake?
I want to. My mom is beautiful. If you're watching out there, go to my page. You will see her. Yeah, Maria, fine girl.
I totally understand that because like I have a friend. There's a guy. His his parents separated. They didn't actually lose a parent. But then when I hear him say things like, "Oh, you know, my mother never remarried. For her, it was all about having a companion," and they knew her companion because he was telling me that all through till the mom passed, the mom had 2 companions. Like she dated one person and then it didn't work out. She now dated somebody else, and that's
just never tied the knot.
But never tied the knot because she just felt like that she wanted her space and her time. She didn't want anybody. She had been through marriage and she didn't want anybody to tie her down. She wanted to have a companion and the freedom to also do whatever she wanted to do. So at the end of the day, I just think it's about individual choices.
You know, I'm just praying for my child. I'm just praying for my child.
God.
You know, the only thing I can do right now is just to pray. Anybody, I don't want wahala. I don't want.
Please, let's talk about this, our child. These children matter. So a lot of women stay single because of the children. They'll be like, tori omo, let nobody maltreat my children. Let my children not miss their inheritance. And some remarry, tori omo. Yeah, you know this? Some people tell you that I'm remarrying because of these children. Yes. Some will say I'll not marry because of my children. Do you think that it's there's a unhealthy weight on one partner more than the other, male or female, on this because of children? The sacrifice that is being made because of children seems to be unhealthily weighing on the woman than on the men.
Yes, it is. I'm going to give you an example. If a woman leaves a matrimonial home right now with nothing, no Ankara, no 1 yard, she will live with her children.
She will fight for it.
She will fight for it. They work, I don't care if they are sleeping under the bridge. That's a woman's right. Because our children are our life. You know, because that's our pride and joy. That's what makes you a mom, you know. But I do think that it's an unhealthy excuse as well, because we have a tradition in Nigeria whereby a lot of people could be more successful than what they're supposed to be and what we are right now. But why? We are catering for our parents. Rather than them fending for their own independence in life. So because you're saying, I'm doing it for my children, I'm doing it for my children.
When they grow up, they have to take care of you.
It's like, oh, Bieda, your mother is asking you for money and you're saying, she will remind you of
her life for you.
It's unhealthy.
Yes.
It's unhealthy. It's trauma, it's unhealthy. We all have friends that are just like, I can't say no to my mom, but like, I need more. It's unhealthy.
So thank you, Miriam, for bringing this up, because we were talking about it and Tokwe was, highlighting how important. I said, just have a conversation with the children. Always secure the children and show them and carry them along. Because there's a point in life where these children will be overburdened because you've made them life. You've made them your life.
Sure.
You only live. I was talking to a client recently that you need to date. This divorce is 5 years old. And we're still in court. And we're still in court to drag here, drag there.
I'm sure it has already painted the whole city.
Co-parenting looks tough for both of them because our entire life is for those children. And so whenever the man has to be with his children, even though it's a short-time access that he has, she go show him. The access is not healthy, it's not encouraged. And I'm looking at her and wondering what kind of future these kids will have. Because if she can be bitter about the life she gave their dad, I want to be when the children to start their lives. Especially the boys, their wives will be a competition, everything, So we need to talk more about how life is fickle. I'm telling you for a fact. I was saying to someone how I handled a protective order for a woman, and the children were confronting me that I was breaking up their home. As we speak, they're with their mom. Life has passed, everybody has changed, things have happened, eyes have opened, people have seen things and they've moved on, you know. So these children, my children, I hope you're not just living now and for the moment now, that, you know, when time now passes, I hope you're willing enough to let go, forgive them, allow them be, and accept that this was your own cross.
But in this widower case, one thing that also intrigues me is the fact that, do you know that my uncle that was talking about, my auntie's husband, after my auntie passed, 6 months later, he remarried the woman. He had scuffles with his children because we're about age, and they didn't see a reason why he should marry that early. And guess what? The second woman has passed. And it's the children that say that they don't marry the third one. Because they are now having that fear. That, are you sure there's not something? And I've seen it. A man, I've also heard of a man who is an uncle to my friend, whose 3 women passed. And at the end of the day, it's like, do you want to, the family is not the one telling you, do you understand it? So dynamics also happen. That, okay, you want to marry. But do you know, like Miriam had said, that she will hunt. Do you know if it's the spirit of the first one that is haunting the remaining one? Who just knows? Things just happen. Things just happen. I'm just saying in everything, in a nutshell, let us look for what makes us happy. Regardless of what people think. These people,
outside our kids as well.
They hold you 200 naira handkerchief, and it's because that handkerchief is expensive now. Before it used to be 100 naira. My dear, you have gone since. It's you that have gone. They do not want you to go, but you have chosen where you want to go to. Absolutely. So after that, live your life in such a way that you know that on the last day, like we Christians say, when you are asked to account for your deeds, you can say, okay, dear Lord, the children that you gave me, I tried in my best to take care of them, to nurture them, and to set them on the right path. I think that's just it for me.
Yeah, and for me, I believe it's important for people to have a life outside children. I understand the need for parents to, you're here, you have a child.
Even in marriage.
Yes, even in marriage, you have to have your own life outside your marriage.
Outside your husband.
Outside your children. You need to, you do not just come to this world. You do not just come, your purpose in this world.
It is easy, you can.
Yes, it's not just to procreate.
Can we talk about these relationships and the shifts?
Yes.
Break down
I'm coming. So in terms of living your life, so because it's really traumatic having that emotional blackmail on kids to say, I lived my whole life for you, I sacrificed for you, I did everything for you. What are you not doing? Why are you not loving me the same way? Why are you not giving up your own life for me? I don't think,
like you did not call me back.
Yes, I don't think that's a fair burden to put on anybody. Live your life the best way it suits you. If you're separated or your spouse dies and you want to remarry, carry your children along and do what suits you. At the end of the day, it's your life.
Balance.
Everybody goes still die.
Where else you gonna go? This going.
Amaka, I wanted us to talk about these ships. You know, like talk about lover girl. My husband is my best friend. He's my only friend.
That's
he's my husband.
Your husband can be your best friend. That's no problem. But you have to have your life outside your marriage.
So how
as well.
important are those other relationships? Because me, I have ships for everything. I have 25 best friends, 150 best friends. If you're my best friend, I'm your best friend.
Bestie me.
Bestie me. I have a group of ladies I gossip my husband with. They are my friends. And my husband knows them. So he gossips me now with them. At least on Monday, he called those ladies and said, Nima, it's like, you know, and he reported me to them because he knows when I'm discussing with those ladies, even in the house when he's there, and it's his matter, I'll be using the phone and say, be say, is it me you're telling them about? I need an escape. I understand it. So you need your girlfriends. You need your sisters.
Yeah, I call mine my soul sisters. We even have a group called Soul Sisters.
So my sisters, my blood sisters, I am blessed with 4. And plus my sister-in-law. They are for a group of another reason. My girlfriends are for a group of another reason. Husband, you are my husband. But it's not everything. For another reason. It's not everything. You tell husband.
There's a ship.
I do tell my husband almost everything. I'm not going to lie, but there's just some things I can't. If I don't want my husband to view you differently, I can't tell you things about him. I can't tell him things about you.
Exactly.
I learned that. That one is another topic. And I really want us to go into your interview, but that what you just said, I learned it it was Toke Makiwa did a video and spoke about the fact that I'm not your... Don't use me to discuss with your husband. Don't
use
tell
me as your romantic topic.
No. Don't tell him about my story. Like I shared with you in confidence. Me, I used to do like, everything that happens. Mr. Mark,
but
can't you
no, I understand your own.
I get
but
it.
Some
it's from
women
an innocent place, but
It might affect.
Not necessarily.
Now, I have
from an
a very
innocent
mature husband who doesn't allow it. He's even the one that will be correcting me like, no, don't, it's not a big deal. But not all men have that capacity. In most cases, they would start
judging and treating them
your
according
friend
to what they heard.
differently. So that for me became
Or they don't forget it.
Like
Yes.
My best friend, my husband met and said, just
That's
after,
not that
a year
one
after
that-
marriage. And he said, is it you? My wife said, I said, My friend said, well done. Because we were best friends, he just knew I would have done that. And so I learnt it. But he took it with joke. Now, it's not all women who do it with innocence. Some are in a tough situation in their marriage, they are deflecting. Do you want to you now come, you remember that, my friend, you want to drop your friend's gist
to cover up.
To defect from your
Like
own.
with me,
default.
I think after like few years after meeting my husband, I realized that if I'm fighting a friend, I can't vent that much to my husband.
He will fight
Because
for you.
tomorrow we'll make
still
up.
fight
He's
you.
not forgiving you. Till date, he will not forgive you. Just be like, you made my wife upset. When I tell you, my number one fan, you made my wife upset, you know what?
I'm not in for it.
Yes.
You will never.
Wow.
You can come in there when you greet me. Okay, you never forget. After then, I don't even bother. So if I'm fighting somebody, I'll go downstairs. I'll just answer the call. But for me, I'll rather vent to my mom or my sisters. And they know that Miriam, she's just angry. But you will now say, let me now cry.
Just on top of the
He has
matter.
never even gotten. The tear has not reached here. Just here, baby, Pookie. Woo! It's over. You can't even come to the house again.
As it is over.
It's over. So you can't really share everything. You need to have your own escape. Your friends, your own life, even your night life, your day life, your friends that you go to dinner with. Everything can be together. You have to have your own life. You can't.
Is that dinner that made Tokwe say, friends that you go to dinner with?
I had lunch.
Your happiness can be
Traditional woman.
No, it's not
doesn't
that.
do
I really don't.
Your
As
happiness
in,
can
my
be tied to
friend,
just your husband.
somebody
alone.
dragged me yesterday. I heard it. Your happiness cannot be tied to your husband. You need to be happy in yourself. Somebody dragged me yesterday after my dental check that, and it was like, so you don't go out, you don't eat lunch outside. I said, no, you don't. I was like, I don't really. Yeah, so I'm that bad. But this is not interview about me. Some other day. This interview is about Mariam. We want to get to know you. We want to get to know you. We want to dissect you and learn from you.
Yes.
And I'm sure many people are wondering, what makes this woman powerful? What makes, where does that vibrancy and energy come from? All that, give it to them. Yes. So we'll take a break. When we return, she will give it to you. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Just wait to collect it.
Oh my days.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Parenting, the show. Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. So that was just a glimpse of who Mariam Adeyemi Tema is. She has a lot. You didn't get the full clip. You should go and watch the others or check out online. But while we were on break, Dami asked a question and your answer was just so. Your answer came from a place of a complete woman, and it is too sweet for us to just collect it during the break. Dami, fire that question again, and she will fire the reply.
I said, me, myself, and I said she's not married to a conventional, traditional Nigerian man like we others. At least on this table, we're all married to black, and she's married to white. And we know that in juggling ideas, responsibility, they are totally different. So I was asking her if her friends come to her with some sort of maybe questions, issues, and she's like, oh, I can't even relate because it doesn't happen in my home. So that was what we talked about. And you said, over to you.
I think I've never been in a toxic relationship throughout my dating stage. So I do sympathize with those that, obviously nobody forces themselves into a toxic relationship. They just find themselves in it. But I've always been intentional all my life not to be in a toxic relationship.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like that.
Okay, so let's talk about how you got into the housewives, how you became one of the housewives. How did that happen? And for me, I was just wondering, when I first saw the housewives, I was like, have we joined these people? Why are we doing this safe? What are we trying to achieve with it? Who are all these women on this housewife safe? Why are they? I was judging-ish.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
I just told myself, anyway, each
Let me
to
watch
each
it.
his own, you know. And now you're the first person from the housewives I'm getting to interview. So I would really like to understand, why did you choose to join this group of people, and what's it been like?
So I think 15 years ago, because I'm a huge personality. I'm very sarcastic, I'm very goofy, I'm very funny. You can't be around me and not laugh. So I remember 15 years ago, Mom looked at me and said, Miriam, see those Kardashian people, you should go and look for them. They'll be following you around with camera. In my mind, I'm like, who wants to be following me around with camera? Yeah, Maria, you've started. So you're like, Miriam, you're underestimating your personality. So I just left it.
So the seed.
So I think 5 years ago, so every year, we all have a New Year's resolution, this is what I want to do. So that year, my mom brought this up again. Said, Miriam, just try again. And I was in LA at the time with my husband. I said, you know what? Let me just even try this thing. Last, they'll tell me no. And a friend of mine is American, is an actor as well, and a content creator, and he has all these agents, people, and everything. So now I told him, do you know people casting for Real Housewives of Atlanta? And I said, yeah, LA, everybody casting directors and everything. So we were literally at his house. Me and my husband went to have lunch. We now did this mini video. Oh, I'm marrying this is my husband, John, blah, blah, blah. He edited it literally on my phone there. He airdropped it to his own phone, sent it to the guy, to whoever he sent it to. He didn't tell me anything. So he now called me the next day and I said, Miriam, I heard there's Real Housewives of Lagos. I said, I've never heard of it before. At the time the press release was out, I didn't know anything about Real Housewives of Lagos. I knew about every other Real Housewife, but not Lagos. And I said, why don't you try? Excuse me. Why don't you try applying? I said, I don't know. So I now went online, saw the press release true. I said, but at the time there was no face. It was just a press release. So I was like, who is these people? Who is involved? I sat down with my friend in the hotel room. My husband went somewhere. I was like, I said, one of my friends spoke about it. You know what? Let me ask her who is involved. She now mentioned who. And I said, but I don't know these people. I know them outside. We don't have Auntie Adiola and her husband. But I don't know them personally. And I called a friend of mine that at the time was my business partner. I know she knows everybody. She's like, I know them now. No problem. She called. It's within 24 hours though.
Wow.
She called. That's why sometimes don't waste time if you want to do something.
When something comes to your mind, just do it.
She called and I shouldn't. The woman was like, how did you know I'm the one? I was like, Auntie, don't worry. I was just on the other line at the time. And she said, but they are fully casted though. Wow. They already cast all these people. But at the time, because Lagos was not on my radar, I wanted to make money in dollars. So I'm like, then it's not for me. This Atlanta is for me. But you know what? Atlanta at the time they already started shooting by the time I called my friend. So I said, it will happen, Sha. It was, I think, 2021, August. I came to Nigeria December for my birthday. January, in that December when I was in that LA, I went to One Oak. There was a Netflix event that they wanted to do at the time. What them, Jerry Swanky, they are doing now. They were trying to do something like that in LA. So I went to Tower Oak. I saw one Uganda guy. You know me, I'm friendly. We're waiting for our tables by the bar. So you were like, oh my God, I love you. I said, I love your skin. You know, we're just
exchanging compliments.
You were like, oh, why give up? I said, Nigeria. I said, I love your vibe. We're trying to work on something. Miriam, don't worry, we'll do it. December I came to Nigeria. They called me from LA. I was online. I had a party on my rooftop. I was tipsy. The guy called me, Miriam, you need to get on Zoom right now. The directors, the same director from Beverly Hills Rich Kids. The director from Kardashians and everything. They wanted to actually do that show. So Miriam, I pitched you, but they want to see you. They want to interview you. So they interviewed me and one other girl from Ghana or something. But I was tipsy. So I was just like, this is me. So I'm like, but I have to go now. I'm giving you just 2 minutes. So I have to go down 2 minutes. So, okay, bye, cab. The guy he called me back, Miriam, they want you. They want you. They want you, they're going to sign the contract. I said, I'll think about it. You know, right now I can't really think. I'll send to my lawyer.
I'm sure you must reminisce about it and laugh at yourself again.
Literally a few weeks later, like a month or two later, I got a call from my same friend. I think they want you for Real Housewives of Lagos. I said, eh?
So you were definitely, your entire spirit was vibrating the media space. There was no way you would not be in media.
So I didn't know that. I even forgot Real Housewives of Lagos at the time. So literally, I got casted 3 days before Abuja Sin, episode 4 of Real Housewives.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow.
But how has the journey been? Has it brought more exposure? Has it brought more clientele?
Absolutely.
Has family taking
more
in?
clientele, yes, absolutely. Because for PR, I only do like corporate brands.
Okay.
So when I started PR, I used to do entertainment. I used to do beauty brands, and I've worked with MAC Cosmetic, Estee Lauder, Tom Ford, Juicy Couture, Clinique. I've done all this, Diageo, every most major events that I've done. So after childbirth, I decided to go corporate. So like communicational companies, insurance companies, oil and gas. It works better for me.
Okay.
Is there a
Let's
reason?
talk about your business.
Okay.
You should say after she had
I'm
kids
just
now.
tired.
Yeah, because that's why I want to
I
know.
feel like in life you grow.
Okay.
And
Okay.
sorry, go
I'm
ahead.
reading right now because I'm just following you on Instagram. But right now I'm reading that you're founder of Lure Beauty.
Love Beauty. So I launched Love Beauty 2017. I had a salon then. I like to go into different things. I found out I got pregnant, that I was pregnant at the time, a month after I opened my salon. But it was open for 3 years. I closed it.
Okay.
But under Love Beauty, I started my lashes, my lash line
Is that
at the
the one
time.
that's 616?
So 616 is my PR agency.
Oh, okay.
So Love Beauty, now on my birthday, for the first time I launched my skincare line, organic products. I wish it was like I woke up so early so I couldn't bring it. I'm sorry but I'll send it to you guys. Organic base, shea butter, was scented shea butter, vanilla. So I launched it on my birthday last December 21st, last month. And it's been amazing, I'm not going to lie. It's sold out, every bash has been sold out.
Are you serious?
Sold out,
That's so good.
So most people are under the assumption that the housewife brings out the toxicity in people, and that people tend to lose, because even on YouTube we're having questions, that people tend to lose friendships or sisterhood in terms of being on the show. What's your advice to anybody or any of the young ladies that wants to consider, being on a reality TV anytime in the future?
I wouldn't say housewife does it. Okay. In life, we have to learn to take responsibilities for our actions.
Good.
So I don't go on platforms to say, oh, production did this, production did that. You might not like the way, out of 1 million things that you said,
What they cut out.
what they cut out. You have to understand that a scene takes at least 5 to 8 hours, and they probably take 2 minutes out of it. They can't take everything out. Do you understand? So whatever I say on national TV, on global TV, I'm not going to blame anybody because they can only pick out one, but I said it.
So it's good for people to go back to
So
reference.
take responsibilities for your actions. If you want to go on housewife, be prepared.
So have you lost a friendship? Because I also read somewhere that
yes.
you were close friends with Toyin. Have
Yeah.
you lost any friendship due to?
Yeah, due to that, yes. But I wouldn't say because of housewife. It was responsibility. Nobody told you to slap somebody.
How do you take losing any of your friends because you're on the show? How did you try to remedy it, or is that the end of it?
I feel like if it was just a conversation, this is the first time I've actually having this conversation anywhere. I don't talk about it. If it was just probably like, you have a friend, you guys are shitting each other, you pissed me off, it's something I could move past. But because physical abuse was involved, I can't move past it. And that's just me. No TV involved. That's my rule in life. I can't do physical violence with my friends.
So
That's where it's a boundary that I can't come back from.
So once you cross it, it's all
Once you
over.
cross, I don't know what the future lies. Do you understand? But right now, I'm okay where I am, and I don't need that type of friendship in my life.
Okay, but as regards marriage, I just want to ask you, what is your husband's outlook when you come back from Real Housewives? Are you guys talking about the fights, the talks? Are you carrying him through?
No, I tell him because he doesn't really. My husband is not a social person.
Oh,
we are totally two different people. Like,
so he doesn't watch you.
Of course, he watch.
So my husband will not watch it. That's what I'm asking.
No, watch, baby. He will just. Are you okay? Like after the
know
fight,
each other.
After the fight, my husband knows about my sister-in-law, my husband's family. They didn't know. Obviously, when they saw it, they left California and flew all the way to Atlanta. As soon as they walked in, she first gave me a big hug. Marima, you okay? I saw.
You married into a good family.
You're good. I'm like, sis, didn't you see the old walla where I cursed?
But they're all just looking out for you.
You understand? So my family actually understands, my job. They know my personality because the way I am outside, I'm different in my marriage.
Yeah.
I'm totally different in my marriage.
We're totally out of time, but we've really enjoyed the conversation with you. You've shared a whole lot with us. One of the things that I love what you said is that you have been careful not to be in a toxic relationship, and it obviously showed up with the way you handle friendship too, that if it gets into physical battery, I'm not doing again. And thank you for taking responsibility for what you say. I think it's a good lesson for all of us on TV.
If you want to join, make sure you can own it. You have to own it.
Thank you so much. So we're looking forward to seeing you on the new season. Yay! It should be a fun time. Yeah. Tomorrow will be Ladies of Your View Pigeon. Another exciting episode will be coming. Dami should be there. For now, it is bye from us. Till next week. Bye.